Most millennials think the economy is the reason they are underpaid, but the economy isn't really the issue here. You're underpaid because you're still playing a game designed for someone else's outcome. And nobody told you that when you took the job. Your boss, the one who approves your time off, reviews your performance, decides if you get a 4% raise this year, will earn in the next 2.5 years what you could earn in 2026 alone. Not because you're less capable than him, because the income structure around you is different from the one available to you. And the reason most men never find that structure, even when they're genuinely looking, is because they're searching in the wrong place entirely. Let's get into exactly what's happening here and what to do about it. You think the problem is your salary. It isn't. Most millennial men are focused on the climb, better title, different company, stronger comp package, maybe a 10K jump if the negotiation goes well this year. That's not a wealth strategy. That's just keeping pace with inflation, if you're lucky. Here's what I missed for a long time. Linear income has a ceiling, and that ceiling is set by someone else. Someone who will almost always pay you slightly less than you're worth. Not out of malice, but because that's how the structure stays profitable for them. Here's what makes this worse. The higher you climb inside that structure, the more invisible the ceiling gets. You stop feeling constrained, you just feel busy. And that's by design. The income landscape in 2026 has split into two distinct tracks, and most people don't realize they're even choosing between them. Track 1 is employment income, capped by time, controlled by someone else, growing at maybe 3 to 5% a year if conditions are good. Track 2 is leverage income, tied to the value you deliver, not the hours you log. It scales differently. It doesn't require permission. The men who are outpacing their bosses this year aren't necessarily working more hours. Something else shifted. But here's the part that almost nobody explains clearly. Making that shift has nothing to do with quitting your job, building a massive audience, or having capital sitting around. The mechanism is simpler than that, and it's already accessible to you. The gap isn't really about income. It's about positioning. Your boss doesn't earn more because he outworks you. He earns more because he controls access to outcomes. His position in the structure creates a kind of leverage that yours doesn't. You can build the same thing, just not inside the same structure. And when I say outside the structure, I don't mean starting from scratch. I mean taking what you already know and pointing it somewhere different. Here's what that actually looks like in practice. A mid-level professional in marketing, finance, operations, tech, or consulting, someone who packages their knowledge as a defined service rather than a job, doesn't earn 80K or 100K. They're typically earning 150K to 400K, working with 3 to 5 clients instead of one employer. That's not an outlier story. It's a positioning shift. The income was available the whole time. The structure was just routing it somewhere else. But before you can access it, you need to understand the mistake that stops most men before they even get started. Most men who figure this out get stuck in one of two places. The first is waiting for buyer certainty, wanting the whole model mapped out before making a move. That clarity doesn't arrive on its own. Another year goes by on track 1 while they're still planning. The second mistake is subtler and honestly more dangerous because it actually looks like progress when you're in it. They go wide. 3 income streams, 5 platforms, nothing taken to a level where it actually performs. Then they decided it doesn't work. Scattered effort produces scattered results. That's not a motivational line. It's just what happens mechanically when attention is split too thin. The men who break out of the salary ceiling aren't doing 10 things. They're doing one thing well, for a specific type of client, with a clear outcome attached to it. That specificity is what creates pricing power. Generalists get treated like a commodity. Specialists don't. Here's the actual move. 4 steps. I'd call it a 90-day repositioning rather than a business plan. Step 1. Audit what you know for market value. Not for internal performance reviews, but for what a business would actually pay to access. Not per hour, per outcome. What problem do you solve? And what's that solution worth to someone with money on the line? Most of you have at least one answer to that. You've just never priced it that way. Steps 2 and 3 are where the real pricing gap opens, and where I see most people quietly leave serious money sitting. Step 2, pick one client type, not an industry, a specific kind of person with a specific problem you can solve better than most people they could hire. The specificity creates positioning. Positioning creates authority. Authority is what justifies a premium. Step 3, build one offer around that, not a menu of services. One packaged outcome with a clear deliverable, a clear timeline, and a result the client can actually point to. That's what people pay for. Not your time, not your process, the outcome. Step 4 is the one that makes everything else matter. And it's the step most men skip, usually because it feels uncomfortable at first. Step 4, put your positioning somewhere findable. YouTube, LinkedIn, direct outreach, referrals. The channel matters less than the consistency. Someone needs to be able to find you and understand immediately what you do and who it's for. 3 months from now, you could have a first client paying you more for one engagement than your current employer pays you in a month. That's not a stretch. That's just the math on track 2. You came into 2026 thinking you needed a better salary negotiation. What you actually needed was a different income structure, one you control. Your boss isn't going to walk you toward that. That's not a criticism of him. It's just not a move that serves his interests. You can see it now, though. What you do with that is up to you.